What do you think of the federal government's handling of the third wave?
I don't envy their position. You know, that's a tough job. It's something that they weren't prepared for, and that's the problem. I think is they should have been prepared for this. Epidemiologists and doctors and researchers have been screaming from the mountaintops for years that we need to be ready for this sort of inevitable event, and we weren't. And now it's just catch up. They're playing catch up constantly. I think we're certainly doing better than some places in the world, but I don't think we're doing all that we could. There could be more support. There could be clearer and more consistent management of what we're all expected to do and how things should be handled. So unfortunately, they're caught with their pants down on it, and they're doing okay, I guess. But I'd like to see a little bit more being done.
I think it's good, 100%. I mean, we're all struggling to want to see our families. I have nieces and nephews that have just been born I'd love to see, but I can't keep them protected if everything is open and everyone can travel freely. So I think they're doing a pretty great job.
I think one of the problems is that every province is doing its own thing, and the federal government has had trouble stopping that. So I think the feds are actually doing well. Some of the provinces are doing less well.
So far, I believe they're doing a good job. The rollout has been fairly successful, and they've been getting doses out as they come into every province, which is very encouraging, and I'd like to continue to see progress in that regard.
It's such a tough question. I'm not sure any government, would have done necessarily better or worse. It's a tough situation to be dealt with. There's some things that maybe I would have done differently myself, but to say that another government would have done everything right, I don't think it's an easy situation.
Yeah, man, it's a pandemic. it's what can legislator, you can't legislate what's going to happen. Yeah, I think the maritime bubble, shutting down was the right call and trying to restrict people's travel. But, I wouldn't want to be a public official during one of these things. I appreciate that they have a really tough job, and it is what it is, I guess.
I feel like it's going pretty good here in New Brunswick. I will say that I'm worried about it getting worse, but I think that people are abiding by most of the guidelines.
I think they've done as well as they can do. It's unknown to everyone, even to them. So they're doing what they need to do.
I think that the federal government is doing what they can. I think that it's a really difficult situation, and no one was expecting the variant to be as strong and as deadly as it is.
Well, which aspect of it? Because basically we've got two or three things going on all at the same time. One is that they're trying to enforce some of the guidelines, and by having fines and things like that. And I think they have to do that because not everybody is even going to be wise in terms of deciding what they should be doing for themselves, not to mention looking after other people. But at the same time, we have that going on. We have vaccinations growing all the time in terms of the number of people are getting vaccinated. And if at all possible, in somewhere in the summer, by July or August, that we can have second shots for people like myself, who I'm starting my 80th year on this planet, and that would be a real good accomplishment because hopefully there's not a variant out there that can sidestep everything that we're doing. And we're doing things so fast technically. I mean, the medical community is really, they've just made incredible strides. Who ever heard of having a vaccine ready in the length of time that they've had?
What I hear is that the issues are mostly from the provinces and more local populations not following the rules. Countrywide, I think they're doing what they should do, the federal government, and it's up to the provincial and the local governments to be more, keep up with what's going on. So federally, I think so, and locally, they need to step it up.
Hundreds of thousands of people a day passing through Pearson. Yeah, when you can't put your foot down on that kind of stuff, you're not going to control it.
It's more lackluster compared to earlier waves. I feel like it's been worse, and the amount of support by the federal government hasn't been there compared to prior waves. They should do more, and I feel like they're not.
You know, honestly, it's felt like it's been the British Columbia government that we've been dealing. The provincial government has more been the immediate government that we've been dealing with that I felt. We get all of our directives from Bonnie Henry. We don't really get it from Monsieur Trudeau. So I mean, other than the vaccine rollout, which some people complain about, but I imagine there's complex, geopolitics involved.
It's tough. I don't really blame anyone, and that includes the government. I think definitely it's something that we're all new to, and some decisions are made spontaneous or in the best interest of the people of Canada. And then when we reflect on some of those decisions, maybe in hindsight they could be different, but I don't blame them because it's really hard to make those decisions at that time. So I definitely have trust in the government. I have trust that we'll get through this soon.
It's tricky. I mean, it's between the provincial responses and the federal responses and trying to just get, millions of people to all pull in the same direction. I think they're doing okay. I think they've lost the momentum we had, but I think that's just as much as fault of just the fatigue that people have with trying to stick with regulations.
What effectively could they do besides maybe being more proactive on the vaccination? Like, you can't force people in this country to do too much if you reflect on other countries. So it's a very difficult situation for them. I wouldn't be blaming a situation on the government for now.
I'm not impressed. I don't sit down and really think about it in too much great detail or anything like that because it's more or less it's out of my control. I'm just doing what we're expected to do to follow the rules and get through this.